Welcome back to the Model Way Podcast. My name is Lenny Wheeler. I am your host. Today, we're going to dive into the mindset in an industry that is constantly testing your worth. If you've ever felt like your mind was your biggest enemy or struggled to stay confident when everything around you seemed unstable, this one is for you. I really want to dig deeper into what we talked about because this kind of ties into the last episode that I did where I talk about this. And recently we just came back from Paris and we were in Paris and I saw a lot of people that were insecure. They were feeling not so confident. And it was one of those things that I was like, man, what are you guys thinking? But I really wanted to talk about this for a second because I think that let's talk about doubt, because a lot of people have told you that you can model and they think you should go to these events and possibly do some go-sees, but a lot of people just get into their heads and think through things just a little bit different than what most people do. And really that's pretty much in any business or any kind of, especially a creative business where you've got a lot of competition, so it feels. And really, it's really about competing within yourself, because a lot of people just do things like comparison. And so the comparison thing can play a huge role into what you're doing, you know? So when you start going into casting calls or any kind of go-sees and stuff, you're going to start seeing other models that very well could look just like you, because that's what the casting director was trying to find out for the client, because she wanted a certain particular look or a certain kind of hairstyle. And you fit that bill just like the other 30 people that are in the same room with you. But a lot of times you end up comparing yourself, because what happens a lot of times, you go in there, you're already 5'9", 5'10", maybe even 5'11", and you go out in there and you've been the only person in your immediate surroundings that look like that. But until you go to these casting calls, it's like, oh my God, what did I just get myself into? Because this guy he's stronger than me, he's bigger than me, he's got a bigger physique. You know, you're there for a reason, because your agent put you there and sent the comp cards and the digital packages to the casting director so you can actually get put into this call. And so when you go in there, you start comparing yourself. And when you start comparing to yourself, that puts a little bit of doubt in your head, because all your life you've been told, whether it's good or bad, you're beautiful, you look good, you know, or you had the other end of the spectrum. Or you had the other end of the spectrum where somebody may have told you that you were not so pretty. Overthinking starts to creep in and things like that, especially when you're in a high pressure environment, right? Like, because then you start overthinking, you start doubting yourself, like I was saying, and you just start overthinking the situation, because it becomes a little bit harder when you do start overthinking it, right? And like I said before, you're only in comparison with yourself. You're not in comparison with everybody else that's in the room. It's just within yourself. Not only in the modeling business, you start having these self-doubts, but also in the entertainment business in general, whether you're a talent, you're a makeup artist, you're some kind of creative director or anything like that. Those self-doubts come in because maybe you're working with somebody that you've longed to dream to work with, but you know, you look at their history and again, you start comparing, right? You look at the history of who they've worked with, who they haven't worked with, and why are they choosing me? You know, and those are one of the big things that you have to really think about when you're doing. I can give you some key examples and some personal stories of what had happened before, because really when I'm dealing with models, I'm dealing with actors, male and female, you know, I may tell somebody, I remember specifically, I've had incidences where I've had told models, look, we're taking digitals, okay, Polaroids. There's a whole thing on Polaroids in our playlist. Please, I'd advise you to go check it out if you haven't watched it yet, and kind of put some comments on there. But look, when you're taking your digitals, you don't put makeup on. If anything, it's just real light, but you don't go in there with foundation caked on your face, because they're going to tell you to wipe it off. But again, self-doubt creeps in because you're not trusting the process, right? You're trusting what you're seeing. You're looking in the mirror and you're seeing somebody that's not so beautiful in your eyes, but you are beautiful, right? And because everybody's told you, but in your head, you're thinking no, because you've had one other person tell you something different, right? And so when you do that, you're looking, okay, I'm going to look better because I want to cover the imperfections on my face. I got a couple, 2 or 3 pimples. Maybe it's that time of the what month for you females, dudes, maybe you had a breakout session where you just got a little overstressed and you put that on, right? Or you don't do the things to help clear that out. But that happens, right? But if you don't trust that process and trust the people around you that are helping you, it's going to make it very difficult for you, because that tells you yourself, not only yourself, but the people that are around you, that you can't follow directions and you don't really trust that process. And that makes it very, very tough. And that's where a lot of self-doubt can come in and things like that are just going to help harden your career just a little bit. And it's going to hold you back a little bit. Trust the process and move forward with it. Remember that your mind is either your bodyguard or your biggest hater. And you train it every day. You have to train it every day. Like I said on the last episode in this part series, that you have to get in the mirror. You have to talk to people. You have to pretend like you're going to casting calls to help desensitize that mindset, right? Because it's not going to help you. But I can't wait, because Dr. Sad from New York City, she's a clinical psychologist. She's going to be on the show on the 12th of June. I want you guys to go check that out. I'm going to have a lot of promotional materials out there that you guys can be ready to listen to our show, because it's going to be phenomenal once it gets out there, guys. And I'm looking forward to it. By the way, that reminds me, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channels. Our Spotify, Apple accounts, and YouTubes are growing. Right now we're getting a big, large viewership. Congratulations to the show again, because we have hit the top 10. We hit top 5 right a couple of days ago, and it was just absolutely amazing. I think we were all excited, because it doesn't happen too often with newer podcasts and newer shows like this one that's on the rise and growing. Also, please hit the comments down there, guys. I need some comments on there. Let us know what you think. How has your confidence been? Have you been to casting calls? What do you do to calm the nerves down? What do you do to get relaxed in an environment when it seems stressful? The fast pace is moving. You're putting on your shoes. You're walking in there. We want to hear from you. Technically, confidence isn't your personality. It's something that you got to practice, guys, because it does become part of your personality, because confidence is going to show. It's not arrogance, like I said before, or it's not being cocky or conceited. It's a confidence that you just know what you're doing, right? You no matter what you're putting in your face and what you're putting in front of you, any kind of obstacles that you got, you know how to overcome that and move right forward and just get through that. And that's a huge, huge thing in the modeling industry. Some of the things that you can reinforce in yourself is just that practice is meditating. Sometimes you could put meditation and just kind of self-talk yourself through things and let yourself know, okay, I am this person. I am beautiful. I'm strong. I'm standing tall. And show your posture. Get in the mirror and do these kind of routines. Visualize yourself standing in front of multiple people, not just one, even multiple people, because that's sometimes you're going to do that when you're going into actual casting calls or anything like that, where you're going to have to see a lot of people, and you're going to have to be that person when you get in there, right? Have some silent time as well. Take a moment to get off social media, take a moment to get off your phones, stop messaging, get off the video games, and just reflect on your day, reflect on what you're going to do, kind of meditate on that and kind of visualize where you're headed, right? Because that's going to make ladies and gentlemen, that's going to make a huge difference on your presentation when you're seeing people and going to these casting calls. One of the things that you can do, there's a lot of self-help out there. There's some books, there's some other links and stuff that you can go to, on YouTube, and it talks about building your confidence. And I really recommend going out to these places and kind of putting something together for yourself. And, not everybody, there's not a one-stop shop for everything. And, there's not one place where everybody can shop and be the same person, because everybody's got their own personalities and their own differences. We've got our own battles to face every day. And maybe you're thinking to yourself that, look, I'm this person, but I don't feel beautiful, but the other people think I'm beautiful. But you're going to have to get through these kind of mindsets to help trigger those things and try to keep yourself at a calm state. Like I said, Dr. Sad's going to be on here. We're going to talk about that mindset and some of the things that you can do to help control that. Because like I said, I watched one of her videos the other day where it got multiple views on it, and she was talking about the mindset and how negative thoughts just creep in and how to control that. And we're going to talk through that, like how to actually, recognize these thoughts and learn how to turn them into a positive, where it's really not your enemy, it's just you, because that's not who you are, right? So she's going to go dive deeper into that thing, and I'm looking forward to it because, not only is she a top world-renowned clinical psychologist, she's somebody that can be beneficial to you. And you need to listen to the course and the training that she gives us, and listen to the talk throughs that she's going to do on the show, which is going to be absolutely relevant to what you do in this industry, because models, you are important, and models, you do have healthy minds. And if you don't have a healthy mind, it can be trained to be a healthy mind. It's not something that you can be born with, and I think that's just for anybody. So please subscribe to that and listen to that on June 12th at 7 p.m. It's a Thursday. I'm looking forward to having her on the show. And really, how you respond to rejection or silence, it's important. It's more important than really the successes that you're going to gain over the year, because I believe that you're gonna develop a stronger mindset. You're gonna develop a little bit more thicker skin, because too many people get out there, and I've had girls go out there and they had all the training in the world. They've done everything that I've asked, or you may have done everything that your manager has asked or your agency has asked, and when you get there, you just freeze up. You forgot everything that was taught to you. You forgot everything that went into the training, and you're stuck in the middle like, gosh, what did I do wrong? Why didn't they pick me? And, I want you guys to overcome these kind of mindsets, because it's going to be super important in your journey as a model, right? And one of the things that, I do have talks to with my other manager friends and things like that is that, people don't understand that modeling's just not about taking pictures and learning how to walk a runway, but it's about, making sure you have a strong mindset, guys, because that's super important. Because, I don't like sending people to places, especially when they're just wanting to model. They want to model. And all they're thinking is taking pictures and doing runways and doing whatever and being in whatever they feel like doing and just being in front of people and around the models and stuff like that. But when they get there, they have nervous breakdowns. I've seen people have nervous breakdowns. I could tell you a story about another model from another agency that was telling me about. She was super beautiful, and I knew who she was. I took some really cool portraits of her and some nice digitals, really good intro videos and things like that. But when she got there, man, everything just crumbled. She wanted, like, one day she's there and then she wants to come home from Milan. That would be a dream for 90% of the models out there, to go to Milan and model. That would be another dream for somebody to even go to Paris. But if you're not ready mentally, you're going to have a hard time adjusting to the pressures, because it is a high pressure industry. We don't want to see you just go there and fail, because like when you go there, people spend a lot of money, time, resources to get you there, a lot of energy. It's a lot of work, but if you're not ready in the mind, you're going to have self-doubt about everything. What are you going to do when you go there with 3 people, say like if you go to like a Paris with 3 other models from your agency, and your manager sends you there with 2 or 3 other people, and all of a sudden 2 of the girls out of the 3, and you're the third one, right? You're the one that didn't get put in the show catalog for Fashion Week, but the other 2 did. What are you gonna do? You're gonna complain, you're gonna blame everybody, and you're gonna put in your head that they don't like me because of this. Well, could be a lot of different factors. It could be that you're not ready. Maybe your portfolio wasn't as strong as it needed to be. Maybe you needed to cut hair and you didn't cut your hair because you were afraid that you were going to look ugly. Those are mindsets that you can't afford to have, guys. A good model is going to have confidence. She's going to have self-awareness. She's going to understand every point, or he are going to understand every point about themselves, what makes them best, and go with the advice that the people are giving them. You just remember that all the world-class models out there, the people that you see and admire, they all get no's. They all get no's. And you think that because you go into one casting call or one kind of audition or anything like that, you're supposed to get the job. I can tell you this, there's a famous model out there. I'm not going to say the name. She's super famous and she's just absolutely amazing. But I had one of my models a long time go to a runway show and they beat him out. And she wasn't any, didn't mean that this person wasn't good. I mean, this model was very experienced and y'all know who she is. And a lot of times you can go in there and I was like, dang, you got that? Yeah, because she walked in with radiance, confidence, and it was just what they were looking for at that moment. Every time you go into a place, it's not because they're looking for somebody like you or they want you. They may look at you and they're looking at the way you're responding. They're looking at the way that your facial expressions, the attitude on your face, and those are the ones that they remember. Like they're going to remember that if they called you back or not, or if they got the job, they may remember you for the next season. And so you got to always remember that it's just not that time for you. Your time's going to shine when it's time to shine, but that moment wasn't for you. But every time you go into a room, you better have the confidence shield on. That's all I'm saying. So really, when you walk into a room, you need to own it. Own that room, right? Own that room. Own that room. Okay, so owning the room means that energy is going to speak louder than your words. It's going to speak louder than your voice. Coming in with good energy is everything. And like I said, you're going to have to get that with practice. You're going to have to go in there in a room full of people and get that energy. Remember when I was saying like that, how that energy can part the Red Seas? Well, it parts everybody and it makes everybody look at you like, who is this? I need to have her. We need to put her in the job. Those are the kind of energies that you need to bring into a room. It radiates, guys. It glows. It's like, wow. So you walk in and when you speak, you're speaking eloquently. You're speaking, very, very calmly. You're courteous to people. You're not rude. You're not snappy. I don't care what hormones you're going through at the moment, guys and females. You need to go in there with that energy like you're ready to own the job and ready to do the things that you need to do, right? And that's going to set you apart from everybody that walks in that room, right? And so resetting yourself, by having the nice breathing techniques, you need to breathe. When I talk to like the meditation, meditation, you need to have good meditation and breathe, learn breathing exercises that can calm the soul, and know exactly where that's going to place you in a place to where it's like, okay, I feel pretty good when I walk in the room. And no matter what, you had to have some water, drink some water, breathe, take some breathing exercises, have good posture. Guys, having your shoulders back and your head high, stretching the neck, right? All those things, pushing the chin out, having good posture. It's super important. It'll help you feel more confident. And then sometimes you can, even when you're talking, just have a smile on your face when you're talking, because that's going to bring out really good energy, right? And so you want to be able to do that to make sure you're presenting that with the people that you're dealing with, right? Put together some good anchor phrases. You are worthy. You are beautiful. You are strong. They love you no matter what. Even if they don't take you, they still love you. You put those anchor points in your system, right? Even guys, you can say that, man, dude, I'm strong, man. There's nobody that can hit me. I'm like a rock. I'm sitting up here strong and I'm sitting tall and pretty and beautiful and handsome. I can get in there and just fight it, right? They're going to see that and they're going to glow off of that. And they're going to say, okay, they're taking notes, right? I got this. They're going to put it aside and that's your call. You didn't get it today, but you're going to get it tomorrow. Okay. That's what I want you guys to go in there with. I want you to walk into that room like you are the answer to all their problems. Does that make sense? Okay. So you hear me again. I want you to walk into that room like you're the answer to all their problems. And what I mean by that is like, man, they look so good. I've been looking for this. They have a problem, right? And they need to find a position for the slot that they need to fill. You're the person that's going to fill it. I answered their problem. I am the solution. I am number one. That's the way you want to think. You have to put that kind of mindset in your brain. Okay. I want you to be memorable for your energy, not your looks. Looks are going to always be there. They're going to see the looks. The looks are going to be the portfolio. The looks are going to be the comp cards. The looks are going to be the the design board they're putting together in there, right? They're going to physically be able to see that and look at that. That's something that's very tangible, a picture, right? But the energy level is not tangible, but they will remember it. Oh, that girl right there. Oh gosh, she came in with a great smile. Man, she came in with amazing energy. Man, did you see that? She came in like a ray of sunshine. That's the feelings that you want to give to people, guys. Stay memorable and strong, right? Okay, guys, hit that like button right now on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts, guys. We need it. We're actually growing some more, but I need you to hit that button right there. I'm available for consultations at host@modelwaypodcast.com and just walk you through step by step on what it takes to get there and some of the things that you can do. I like to do personal evaluations and do things like that to get you rolling in the right direction, but we can get the starts right there. You got to send the email over so I can see you and my associates can grab that for us and schedule and book an appointment. We don't want you to have confidence that's conditional, the conditions of this or the conditions of that. You need to go in confident no matter what. Confidence being your best. It's about being solid no matter who's around, what's going on, things that are happening around you, the world, I like to call it the whirlwind. You got this going on, you got that going on. This person's doing this person's doing that. The makeup artists are over there, they're looking at me. This person's looking at me. You need to kill that noise, right? You need to have that confidence no matter what, right? That confidence is not conditional. It's in condition that I look perfect. You don't have to look perfect all the time. You need to pull that out of your behind because that's not what it's all about, right? So I want you to go in there with that mindset that it's not conditional. Confidence isn't in the conditions. There's no conditions to it. You know, it's not bargaining with you. You don't have time to bargain with confidence. You have to play with that confidence to its full potential. I want you to ask yourself this question, okay? If the compliments stopped coming in about your beauty, about anything else physically featuring you, what are you gonna do, right? Are you still feeling worthy? Are you gonna still feel worthy? Those are mindsets that, you see what I'm saying? So it's a recycled thing in there that you're gonna have to learn how to kill, because if you can kill that beast and still feel confident no matter what they say, then guess what, guys? It is a win. Win in your corner 100%. Not a problem at all. And that's where you have to get at, right? Like you have to get in that mindset like that if you're gonna make it in this business. And I'm looking forward to seeing every one of you do that just like that. So really create identity anchors that aren't about social media, your followers, your titles, or any kind of trends that you may have to go through. That's not based on that, right? It's not trending on any of that stuff. It's clout from association, any brands that you've worked with, or anybody brands that other people. That is not your identity, guys. Your identity instead is your values, right? It's going to be, your integrity, your boldness, your originality. Those are things that you have to know about yourself, your story. What have you overcome? Were you a little overweight? Did you have inches that you needed to lose? Those are obstacles that you overcame. That's a confidence builder in itself, guys. What does it represent? Who do you represent? Those are huge things. What's your mission? Why do you do what you do beyond vanity metrics like your own beauty? What do you go beyond? Who are you deeper than that? Is it about your physical appearance? Yeah, it can be just a little bit, but that's not what your whole identity is based on, right? Your vision. Think about what you're doing and why you did what you're doing. Do you have a why behind what you're doing in the modeling business, right? Why are you there? Where are you going to be 3 years from now, 2 years from now? What are you going to be doing? You're going to be whining still? That's not building your identity, guys. And having your character, how are you showing up even when nobody is watching? That's building that, right? And that's what we're looking for in this business. In the long run, trends fade. Titles change, followers come and go, people leave and dislike you for whatever reasons, blah, blah, blah. Those are things that you're going to have to just kind of keep in the back of your head, because that's not going to build the stable ground of who you are, right? Identity anchors and protects your mental health, guys. If you can have that good identity and pull that in, I'm huge on mental health because we've all gone through it. I've gone through it tremendously, guys. I've had people talk bad about me. I've had people say I wasn't shit. I had people saying I wasn't this, I wasn't that. You know, how are you getting through that? That's the big thing that you have to like put yourself in the mindset of, and it's really a big thing. And so if you can break those barriers and learn how to do that, you're gonna go everywhere, right? When you're anchored in your own truth, guys, it becomes magnetic, not dependent. Wow, that sums that up right there, guys. So I wanna wrap it up because I wanna take a couple of recap points that I wanted to make real quick. Let's talk about, you know, just kill the inner noise about what's up here, because it can be your best friend, but it can also be your worst enemy if you let it, right? And then build mental rituals, you know, the breathing techniques, getting in the mirror, practicing with your friends. Those are huge tips that you need to be doing. Enter that room with energy, okay? I need you to enter the room with energy and pull that confidence together all the way, you know? So make your confidence unconditional. There's no conditions on it, like I said. So that's a huge point, guys. And I don't know what else to say on that, because I think I pretty much poured into this just a little bit more, but I want you guys to please like and subscribe to the channel. You know, if this hits home for you guys, I want you to share it with someone who needs to hear this. It's a huge thing. You can email me at host@modelwaypodcast.com. Please hit the like and subscribe button today as we are growing, guys. My name is Lenny Wheeler. I am your host, and this has been the Model Way Podcast.